Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is Friday. The week done went by so fast, so quick. I am so grateful to see another week coming in. And I wanted to tell you all that if you never trust anybody, trust the God of your understanding. Because he sure is the one that will not let you down. Tonight we're talking about addiction. I'm Renee Williams, and this is my broadcast, and we're talking about addiction. We're talking about drugs. We're talking about alcohol. We're talking about pills. We're talking about fentanyl. We're talking about any drug substances that you put in your body that make you act different, think different, and do different. And I wanted to talk about that tonight because this is a serious matter. Along with, with all the news and all these people's overdosing and fentanyl and crack cocaine. And, I hate this disease very much. And I have learned how to speak that every day to be a reminder to me, to be a reminder. She need to come get her baby. To be a reminder to me that I don't ever have to use drugs and you don't need it. And somebody is struggling. Some people are struggling with, wanting to stop and can't stop, or struggling with can't stop, and you don't have to struggle. And my topic was never let go of the God of our understanding. And that's what he put on my heart today, because that's what helped me and many millions of people, along with the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program. Narcotics Anonymous program is a program that helps any addict stay clean. You're never alone. And that's what I like about that. You're never alone when you have the 12-step program. And the 12-step program has been there for me and millions of other peoples. So I ask you all, before we open up, let me give a shout out to the ones who celebrating Clean Time today. Whether it's one day, just for today, 30 days, 60 days, 9 months, multiples of years, a year. I had somebody call me yesterday and say, Miss Renee, I'm celebrating a year clean. And I wanted to tell that person, don't you ever give up on God, because God ain't going to never give up on you. We all have to find something that keeps us going, and it's the God of my understanding that keeps me going, along with the 12-step program. So I want to give a shout out to the ones who still living their lives, that lost a loved one due to addiction. I lost a loved one that was due to addiction, but we keep them close in our hearts and we never forget them, so therefore we keep them alive. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. And I understand that, we come too far to turn around, and that's what I want to talk about. You never, ever, ever let go of the God of your understanding, because he's the key. He's the key. The 12-step program is the key. Them two things together, you'll never lose. And, I had to find that out for myself, when I came into treatment. Now, I also want to give a shout-out to the counselors. I also give a shout-out to my favorite counselor. Every time I come on here, Sterling White, he know I love him. He helped me figure out my life, put me on the right, him and God, put me on the right key that I never use again. And so for that, I'm grateful. Give a shout out to the therapists all over the world that's helping people in treatment, inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment. You make us really feel that we can do this. You make us understand the disease of an addiction. And I always say, I hate this disease of an addiction, but this disease have caused body and harm. It has caused mental diagnosis. It has caused anxiety. And, this addiction is very powerful. you know, and I stress so much that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what happens, don't you ever let go of the God of your understanding, because he's the one that's going to put you in the right places. He's the one that's going to help you along the way. The 12-step program helps us to understand the steps of the program and how that can manifest in our lives and keep us going, and understand how each step works. Understand that this disease of an addiction ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. It's going to continue to be drugs. It's going to continue to be alcohol. It's going to continue because, you know, the peoples can't make no money if they stop selling it. We got to have the common sense to know the difference. We got to have the common sense to know just because it's there or just because you see it don't mean you have to put it in your body. You don't have to use. And I tell people that no matter what, because see, no matter what's going to come into your lives, you know, stay clean long enough, you're going to see what I mean. Continue to stay clean. You're going to see all kind of stuff going to happen. And you're going to realize that you don't have to use. Use and make the problem worse. It never gets better. You know, so, you know, that topic that I wanted to talk about was, you know, never let go of the God of your understanding. And I want to talk about that tonight because we all need him. Whoever think they don't need the God of our understanding, something's very wrong. You know, and you don't have to, you know, focus on how everybody else work with God, how everybody else endure God. That's between you and God. You know, I have the understanding of my God. You know, he keeps me on a solid foundation. No matter what I'm going through, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what happened, I know I can't use. And just like I know you can't use, you all can't use neither. We come a long ways. We come a long ways to let the program work for us. And that's what the program does. It works for us. And I wanted to talk about addiction. How do people get on addiction? Well, people, you know, most people who get on addiction is in pain. Most people is running from something. It's running. Hey, I see my auntie, Wanda Bayless. Good evening, auntie. And one thing I do know about recovery is that if you come into recovery looking for something and searching for something and seeking from something, you're going to get it. You're going to get everything that you want when you come into the Narcotics Anonymous program. Shout out to the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program because it works. It worked for me. It worked for millions. It worked for everyday people that's still struggling, you know. And I was laying there thinking, I said, God, man, where would I be if you hadn't never introduced me to the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program, and you came into my life and intervened some things for me. You showed me some things. You showed me how to deal with the program, how to make my life better, how to let the pain, you know, ease up on me some, how to let the wreckage of my past stay my past, you know, and sometimes I find myself, you know, going back to the past just to say, God, I thank you. I thank you for never taking your hands off of us. I thank him, you know, I'm just so grateful that we found a foundation that didn't lie to us. We found the foundation that's been good to us. We found the foundation that whatever problem we facing or going through, it's a solution for everything. It's a solution to not using drugs. It's a solution for staying clean. It's a solution for forgiveness. It's a solution for letting go. It's so many solutions to figure out when we going through something. People say, well, I'm struggling, Miss Renee. I can't, you struggle? because you want to struggle. You struggle with any, hey, Chrissy, good to see you. She's out of town. Good to see my babies. We struggle because we choose to struggle. And I'm going to tell you why. You know, when we get into recovery, you know, it's a new way to live. You know, without the drugs and the alcohol or partying, you know, with people that drink, you know, about fitting in and getting in. And I'm telling you today, we ain't missing nothing. You know, the best I've lived, I'm living my best life. Without the drugs, without the alcohol, without the pills. You know, I had to find a better way to get some answers for me, like you got to get some answers for you. I don't like, you know, people's, you know, they call me, you know, I had one, she's in a situation where she in a relationship. And the relationship is not working. She recovering. She got a year clean time. And she like, Miss Renee, I know I'm not supposed to be in this relationship. You know, I'm like, well, why do you know? How do you know you're not supposed? Anything that make you feel bad, that makes you have to doubt yourself, to make you have to, you know, look at yourself over and again, then you know that relationship ain't good for you. You know, I tell everybody, all money ain't good money. All relationships ain't good relationships. You know, when I came into recovery, I wasn't in a healthy relationship. You know, because how can I be in a healthy relationship where I was hurting myself? You know, we get in these relationships and we think that everybody gonna do like we do, and we got a giving heart, and we do, and we help, and, you know, but you find along the way, you know, you might have started off that way, but it don't end up that way. You know, when I came into recovery, I mean, I was broken. You was broken. I met some of y'all. Y'all was broken. And through the 12-step program, it have taught us how to endure the pain without the drugs and the alcohol. You know, without any drugs. Without any drugs. And I had to learn that was a hard thing for me to grip without going through pain and crying and not understanding that, you know, I don't have to use no matter what. But when the God of my understanding caught me in the midst of my sorrow, in the midst of my trouble, in the midst of my heartbreak, he caught me, and he introduced me to the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program, and that has been working me ever since. Hey, Dex, good to see you. Ever since. And tonight I just wanted to say, never let go of the God of your understanding, because he'll pull you through some things that you didn't think you can get out of. He'll deliver you from some things that you thought that you could never get over. He's the only one that can help you other than the 12-step program with this addiction thing. Some people say, well, I don't know who God is. Some people say, well, I don't have a God in my life. Well, it's your job to find it. It's your job to understand the God. And when you get into these steps, and when you get into the 12-step program, we always mention God. And don't you find that so familiar that everyone that gets up, you know, or say the God of my understanding, the God ahead of my life, the God who been directing me with the 12-step program of Narcotics Anonymous, the God has been good to me. God delivered me. God took me out of the danger zone. God covered me when I didn't know I was being covered. You know, you have to go through some things to understand some things that we must change. We can't stay the same. You know, we can't stay the same. You know, today, before I got here, I seen another friend of mine, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, good to see you. And he was like, yeah, Miss Renee, you know, I'm still drinking. You know, I don't do the other stuff. I said, oh, we went from one addiction to another. My brother, we went to one addiction to another. You know, the drinking, you know, will keep you drinking, and then the drinking will lead you to something else. So, you know, I said, I'm going to pray for you that you get yourself together, because, you know, we never know when it's too late, it's too late. We never know. That's why I don't I don't play games and take advantage no more. Recovery is recovery. Stop using it, stop using. What if we all, let me put this out there in the universe. What if we all stop one addiction and go to another addiction? Then we would never know what it is to be clean. I ain't never going back. Yeah, hey, people can do what they want to, and I see it every day. I'm out here. Every day I see people still hurting, still struggling. And all I can do is pray for them. Because you have to do the footwork in this program. You have to stay above water. You have to keep a God of your understanding ahead of you, with you, around you, to keep you covered. Recovery is a blessing. Recovery helps you identify with things that you never was able to identify with before. Like, I never knew what it is, never knew what it was until I came into recovery, when I dealt with the death of my mother. Now, had I been not in the 12-step program, I would have drank myself to death, smoked myself to death. I wouldn't have ever thought that I could have been clean through to lose the first love of my life. First love of my life, man. It broke me. It broke me. I isolated. I isolated when I was even in recovery. I isolated, but I called a few friends that I know I could talk to. But that was a scary feeling for me, because now I'm dealing with the death of my first love, the death of my mother, and I had to learn how to get some acceptance on some things, and I had to learn that pain I was feeling, or that we may feel. Like, I got another friend of mine's going through something. She had to go say, goodbye to her mother today. And I've been praying for her, and she's been doing the things. She's still clean, and when we are struggling with something as big as that, and we do get big things, but losing a child, or losing your mother, or your, a loved one, or your husband, or your wife, that's a challenge. And people say, no, I know I ain't going to use. And then I hear people say, Mr. Renee, I couldn't help it. I didn't know what to do, See, the truth is that when it says no matter what, that's exactly what it means. No matter what happens in your life. I've seen some people that went from walking to the wheelchair, and they still ain't used. I've seen some people that had one arm and the other one was gone, but they still didn't use. I've seen people that could not comprehend and understand, and now they going back to school, and now they challenge their life to do bigger and better things. But one thing I'm going to tell you something about addiction. If you don't keep yourself covered, if you don't do something with your life, if you got too much idle time, you in trouble. I'm just telling you straight up, you in trouble. Too much idle time is in the devil worship, and he'll come to you and he'll bring things, or when something ain't right in your life, or you struggling, we can still be clean, but something is still going on in our life. But we got to learn how to fight. We got to learn how to stay connected to the God of our understanding. And that's why I'm telling you, people can always seem like, oh, I'm a Christian, or I'm a God, I got God in my life. But how can you have God in your life if you can't stay clean? How can you have God in your life if you change on people's and hurt people's? How can you have a God of my understanding now? I ain't talking about y'all understanding. I'm talking about my understanding. How can you misuse or treat people wrong when you say that you have a God of your understanding? Because the God of my understanding, he corrects me even in my thinking. He corrects me when I know that I'm finna say something, that I gotta catch myself, that I might not say nothing. And I tell everybody, you can't do this without God. I was able to do the 12-step program because God was in it. Now, if God hadn't been in the 12-step program, I don't think I could have did it. But, you know, just that hope shot of knowing that God was in these pages, God was in these books, God was in these thousands of books that they write, you know, to make us feel connected. You know, I'm connected with God. And I don't ever want to lose God. I can't afford to lose God. I need him to stay with me at all times. You know, because I don't care how much clean time you have, you still can break. You still can lose it. You still can find yourself back to the table of using drugs and alcohol and didn't even see it coming. That's where the counting and baffling come at. I remember the times where I drank every day. Every day I drank. Every day that I could, that I had the money to get high with, I did. I mean, I went through something. Everybody got a different story, but addiction is addiction. And, you know, when I got on addiction, when I was using and going back and forth, couldn't remember, you know, drunk as a kite, you know, making promises that I never kept. Okay, I'll stop using, I won't use no more. And then as soon as I get to feeling good or get around my friends that's using, there I go. I was back on the run again. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that no matter what I go through, and I'm telling you, don't think, because you get clean, don't you dare think that since you clean and been clean, that you're not going to get challenged. Don't you think that you are not going to get challenged. Don't you think somebody is not going to hurt you. Don't you think somebody is not going to betray you. Don't you think somebody going to hurt you so deeply. With me, you can't hurt me no more. I'm not even going to allow it. I've been there. I've been there in the past. I've been there, you know, before I got introduced to the 12-step program. So I had to make this program work for me. You know, we can't come in thinking that the program going to work for us. It's going to do its thing. No, we got to put some footwork in working through addiction. See, I understood that when I was 30 days, 60 days clean, when we got 3 months, 9 months, and we still had them cravings. I knew then that Satan was still working on us. That, you know, we doing too good. First of all, now we can think right. You know, now we, you know, and slowly as it go, I started dropping people. I started losing people. You know, my life became important. Hey, Latrice, good to see you, baby. My life became important. For the first time in my life, when I got introduced to the 12-step anonymous program, and the God was in it, and I had a connection with God, he was trying to tell me, Renee, you got to slow down. You know, you got to slow down, because when I first came into treatment, I was excited. I was excited that I didn't use no more. I was excited that I can hear some things, some hope shots, and I can hear somebody tell me, you worthy. You worthy. You do this to yourself, but you worthy, Renee. You got to stop and think that go back, when you go back in the records of your past. I was with you, honey. I was with you, Renee. You know, I was with you when you were laying on that bed of affliction. I was never let go of the God of your understanding. Because some people claim they got him. Some people say they know him. Some people say they love him. But you do the things that you do. I can truly say that I love him. I can truly say I let go. I can truly say he came into my life. I can truly say I worked the program with the God of my understanding. I can truly tell you because I changed. I didn't change for you. I didn't change for nobody but me. My life was crucial. I was running out of time. I had totally denied God. even when I was using. A praying addict like me, I still was praying to God and still using. Still praying to God and still using. And one day, something strange happened. Now, y'all might have heard this before, but I'm telling you the God truth. This is the only thing that woke me up. He allowed me to see my own funeral. He allowed me to see the color of the casket. He allowed me to see all my friends. He allowed me to see my mother over my cat. He allowed me to see something in a dream that devastated me, but also caught my attention. Figure what? Well, when you're up and you're talking to me, it's not grasping your attention. You praying to me and asking me to help you. So let me put a dream on you that you would always think about. I couldn't move. He just showed me everything. In so many words, this was going to happen to you if you don't stop using. This was going to happen to you if you keep playing Russian roulette. This disease of an addiction ain't no joke. And we should know it ain't no joke, because everybody in the world that has a friend or has an associated knowing somebody died of addiction. Everybody. I ain't seen one person yet, from a teenager to a grown person, that didn't have a friend or didn't know a friend that had a friend that died from an addiction or overdose. Something is wrong, y'all. Something is wrong when God is showing us that, if you don't put him first, you'll be last. If you don't put God ahead of your life and along with the program, that God is in the program, that's what I'm so grateful for. Because I don't think I could have made it. I don't think nobody could have made it. I'm just speaking for me. So don't go and say, well, she said we couldn't have made it. I'm just speaking in general. Even the mother who lost her son, that might not have been struggling with drugs and alcohol, but she still need a God of her understanding to help her through that. I need him. I depend on him. I talk to him. I cry to him. Because see, if you ain't never been on drugs or drink alcohol every day, can't nobody tell me they ain't got no problem drinking alcohol every day when you can't help but run to the store. I'm talking about me. Can't help run to the store and get your 8-pack or your 12-pack or my slip malt liquor or my liquor, E&J. That was my liquor back then. And I drank every day. Not being concerned that I had an addiction. Not being concerned that my kidney was eventually failed due to my abusiveness that I did to myself. Drinking every day, alcohol every day, using drugs every day. We just take it for granted we got time. We take it for granted that we got time, that we gonna live a lifetime. I'm not going to die. That's fooling yourself. Addiction is an addiction. And I had many addictions. But the one that I couldn't get rid of so fast was the drug addiction. The behaviors, once we get rid of the drugs, once we know that it's a drug, once we know we are addicts, once we know we have a problem, then we can work on our other addiction. I had to work on first getting off the drugs and alcohol. I had to really work. I had to really give up. I had to really fight to stay clean. People that fight to do something, you win. People that fight to understand their disease and to understand their character and to understand their behavior, you win. A person that fight to understand that this is a lifelong living thing that we have to do for the rest of our lives, you win. What? What do you mean you win? Every day that I wake up that I didn't use, I won. Every day that I didn't steal or take nothing from somebody or rob somebody, I won. Every day that I didn't have all them evil thoughts to hurt somebody or do something to somebody, I won. And as long as I don't use or put it in my body, I will continue to win. Hey, Jude, good to see you. You have to, look, let me tell you something. We all been to dress up lie. We all been able to dress up and cover it up that we've been, that we not, make us look like we're not using. We all been in that. I bet you everybody now to been introduced to dressing up. And so won't nobody see through the real you. But see, the thing is, you can't hide from you. You might can fool people sometimes or fool people for a long time, but at the end, you don't fool yourself. You don't fool yourself. Saying things to hurt people, that's why I keep my mouth closed. Because I was that person, a hurt individual that was hurting inside, depending on drugs and everything that I can put my hands on. I was in a place in my life where drugs had became my God. Drugs had became my best friend. Drugs and alcohol had became everything to me because I started losing everything. And the worst thing I lost was me. The worst thing you lost was you. The second thing we lose is our mind. The accountability to think right and do right and live right. I lost that too. The third thing I lost was the ability to take care of myself, my body, my health issues. We don't think about all that. All we want to do is get high. Well, now, all I want to do is stay clean. And don't ask me why. I heard somebody on the other side say, "Why, Miss Renee? Why do you wanna stay clean? Why do you don't want? Oh, I don't want to die from drug addiction. I don't want to die in the misery of my own pain. I don't want to die, never fighting to live to see how it would be if I stopped using drugs." So once I found out that I could stop, that I can maintain, that I can go to meetings, that I can get a sponsor, that I can do some service work and still wake up clean, I don't want to die. Not like that. And that's how I always perceive my life to be. I had to lay back in my bed last night and shed some few tears because I know where I come from. I know where I went. I know where I've been. I know where I didn't want to go that I end up anyway. So I had to get butt naked truthful with me. What did the drugs and alcohol do for me? Sense of loss. No gain. Sense of loss. Hey, Stella. Good to see you. Sense of loss. And I couldn't get mad at nobody once I got clean and I started getting all these health problems. I started getting on that pity pot. Kidney ain't working. High blood pressure. A normal heartbeat, all because the abuse by me. Had nobody done nothing to me? Did nobody force me to use drugs? Did nobody force me to take drugs? I did all that on my own. And once I got clean, this is when the game started. Got clean. Feeling good, looking good, taking care of all my appearance. I ain't smoking no more dope. I ain't around people just giving me dope. I ain't around people that use, drink, or do drugs. I had to isolate myself. But I tell you one thing that I learned about this disease of an addiction. It'll undermine you like it's your best friend. It'll treat you like it's your best friend. And I had to learn some things about unmanageability through using drugs. And when I started using drugs, I started losing everything. I started losing the will to live. I wanted to die. I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to shoot myself. I'm telling you, you can believe me if you want to. You can get to the lowest point of your life when you ain't got a God in it. That's why I'm so grateful. A grateful I didn't never use, no matter what happened. But honey, when I came into a program, when I got about a year clean time, the wreckage of my past started coming into my present life. And I had to learn how to deal with some things without taking a drink, without using drugs. What you mean, what you telling me that my kidney's bad? Hey, Caroline, my kidney's bad. Heart failure. I'm clean. Why is this happening to me? Why, God, why are you allowing this to happen to me? And I've been clean now over a year and seem like the Satan won't leave me alone. You know, I had to call my sponsor and tell my sponsor I cried like a baby. And she told me, Renee, I ain't got time for your pity pot. Hurt my feelings. I ain't got time for your pity pot. You've been clean almost 13 months. And now you want to get on this pity pot. What did you do to stay clean? I didn't use. What do you think? Well, I ain't got time for the pity pot. I don't, if that's what you call me for, let's talk about a solution. Let's talk about what you want to go through. Let's talk about what you need to do. I need to start accepting the consequences of my behavior when I was using. Oh, she broke me down too. She broke me down. And I was mad at her because she was telling me something that nobody else told me. She was telling me the truth about this disease of an addiction. Like she told me, I ain't got time for your pity party. Because we had many of them when we was using. After we wake up or we lose money or we lose our house or we lose a car, then we want to get on that pity party. But I had to learn something. I had to learn something about me. I had to learn that accepting my consequences, what made me change. Why do I want to change? Why do I want to live, God? You know why? God, I've never had a chance to understand what freedom means. I never understand. I was always using some kind of drug or drinking some kind of cough syrup or popping some kind of pills or smoking some weed or drinking crack or smoking. I never knew what freedom meant because I always was using. So as soon as I got clean, about the second year I got clean, started having problems. Started having health issues. Started finding knots inside of my body that I didn't pay attention to when I was using. You know, I started finding some tumors. I started finding some cysts. I started finding some things that was wrong with me that now I'm clean. But see, Satan was trying to put me through the test. He tried to tell me that if you come back and if you just come back and try me and smoke some more drugs and drink, we can forget about that. You will be fine. You the reason I'm in the problem. You the reason I'm in a situation that I'm in now. Because I gave you my life. I gave you my trust. I gave you my hope. You became my friend. You became everything to me except what I needed. What did you need? I need a God of my understanding to love me unconditionally. That's why I picked that topic. Never let go of the God of your understanding, because he going to bring you through some things that you know nobody else could have brought you through. I don't care what it is. Don't get caught up on the sight. Get caught up on the faith. Get caught up on what. Don't get caught up. Because see, you know, now I understand why Mama Peggy used to tell me, walk by faith and not by sight, because sight had me thinking that I was no good. Hey, I'm a black sheep. You know, don't nobody want to be around you. You're a crackhead. You're a dope fiend. You know, you just won't give up. You keep keep making promises, and you keep breaking promises, and you're not there for your kids, and you're not there for nobody that loves you. You done broke every bridge. You done burnt every tree that you put your hands on. You just a nobody. And every time I got high, that's what I thought. I was a nobody. I wasn't worthy. God, you forgot about me. And it was then that he was covering me. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what circumstance you're going to face. And believe me, we're going to face some circumstances even when we clean. It just don't happen when we use it. Don't get caught up in that. We had some good times when we was using. We had some fun when we was using. You know, we went to places that we didn't never go to, never thought we would have went when we was using. Well, the same thing is the go around. Is when you get clean, you're going to still have some setbacks. Somebody's still going to hurt you. Somebody's still going to hold you from the wreckage of your past and not forgive you. You got to learn how never to let go of the God of our understanding, because he carrying you when you don't even know you've been carried. And that's what I love about him. That's why I understand the God of my understanding. When people's hurt me, they make me strong. When people's hurt me, listen to me. When people's hurt me, they do something to me to where I think that I'm the strongest person in the world. And I always want to think that way when I'm hurt. Because if I think any other way, I lose. I found a new way to live without the drugs, without the chaos, without me holding on to what you holding on because you don't know how to let go. Hey, Cynthia, good to see you. You got to learn how to let go. And the worstest pain is family pain. The worstest thing is some things your kids can say to you or do to you. That's the worst. That's the worst. Because it's a reminder of what you used to do. It's a reminder that you didn't forgive me. It's a reminder that you still are holding on to the wreckage of my past. I was an addict. I was using. I wasn't in my right mind. I couldn't have been there for you if I was there for the drugs and the alcohol. There's no way that I could have been good if I'm under the influence of drugs and alcohol. No way. But then when you get clean, they think that they can still hurt you. I have no room. I have no room. I believe the worstest pain that I have ever went through, it wasn't a kidney. It wasn't on dialysis. Dialysis was grace to me. Dialysis was the best thing that I could have asked God for then, because it kept me to live longer so I can get another kidney. So that it wasn't that kind of pain. It wasn't that kind of pain. It's the pain of peoples that you carried, that you loved, that you went 9 months for. Whatever you went through, that's a pain that you get clean and they talk to you like you ain't nothing. That's a real bad pain. You know, I thank God for my ups and downs, because I've been through them. You've been through them. Everybody on this site that's going to get on here done been through them. Or you might be going through now. Or you might be battling with something now. But let me tell you, never let go of the God of your understanding. Because if you love God to never let him go, he never going to let you go. He going to always be there even when you don't see him. Even when you can't feel him. He always there. Even when you by yourself, even when you in your lonely mood, or even when you want to get on your pity potty, he's still there. He's still there. Even when somebody you love, that you gave everything to, that you put them before yourself, and they hurt you so bad, remember, God's still there. Don't you dare let Satan back in. Don't you dare not understand the God of your understanding. Because trouble come and trouble go. Trouble ain't gonna never stay too long. You're gonna go through what you gotta go through to see if you're gonna make it through. And see, every obstacle, everything that happened in my life was an obstacle. And when I got clean and I started working them steps, I started going to meetings, I started sponsorship, I started having fun in recovery, that made my life change. Freedom from the addiction. Y'all think I ain't happy? Y'all think I don't care? I don't care what y'all think about me. I don't care how y'all look at me. I'm a grateful addict that said she was grateful, that never used again. I ain't never using no more, no matter what happened. Hey, my first love died on me, and man, that was a crucial pain for me. And I mean a crucial. Some people can't make it. Some people, when they lose their mama or their daddy or their child, you know, they go back out and use. You know, but I still pray that they come back, because then they can see the struggle that they went through was a struggle that they had to go through in order to never go through that struggle again. I ain't never gonna use again. I found something better than for me that works for me, and that's the 12-step program. And on top of the 12-step program was the God of my understanding. Addiction is real. Y'all keep thinking that addiction ain't real. Y'all keep thinking that you can be clean and you get a boyfriend or you get a man that say they ain't clean, and all of a sudden they doing drugs all behind your back, and you thinking you got a clean man. Woo! Oh, I had to say that real good, because I had a man that I thought he had 5 years and he didn't even have just for today. How did I not see that? How did I not see that the man that I was dating was a heroin user? Well, first of all, I never been around heroin. So I never seen what heroin do to you. You know, but I'm just speaking about me. This ain't about nobody else, because I'm telling you what I'm talking about. It's going to come in your life one day, and you're going to be able to remember. How did I not see that? Boy, but guess what happened when I did see it? Guess what happened when I found out? You got to go. You cannot even remain in my presence. I can't beat heroin. I never done heroin. How can I beat with heroin? So while you with me, well, you're trying to gain something, you know, you're trying to stay with me so you can sneak and get more drugs, and you can lie and manifest to me that you clean. But you know what? Remember I told you, never let go of the God of your understanding. God had to show me. He said, Renee, that man that you with, he's using. Renee, that man that you went and sleeping with, you sleeping with the enemy. What you say? How can I be sleeping with the enemy? What do you mean I've been sleeping with the enemy? Man, see, I love God, because he going to tell you. And sometimes we are hard-headed, but we don't want to listen. I love God. God had helped me through situations that I didn't even see. What God he used? Oh, he went back to Chicago to use and came back? Man, you mean he brought my car back on 4 wheels? What? God just started manifesting. Renee, let go. Right? You know, he ain't for you. You know, bad as I loved him, bad as he can make me feel good in the bed, I had to let it go. Because, see, addicts, we get caught up on things that make us feel good. We don't care about what's really going on, as long as we feel good. And he died. After I let him go, he died 3 weeks later. Overdose. So I thank God that he covers you and me when we can't even see things coming. When we in the midst of not knowing what's going on, that we can't even fantasize. I couldn't have never thought he was using. And it showed me something about me. Somewhere you weren't paying attention. Somewhere he fooled you. But the God of my understanding warned me, protected me. Like, you got to go, can't stay here. I can't compete. I'm talking to you all like I talk to him. I can't compete. I can't compete against no heroin. You lied to me. Therefore, when you lied to me, you separated me and you right then. It just happened, I found out. You know, you came back all droopy and sleepy, and then you couldn't wake up, scared the daylights out of me. Never, ever again. I'm grateful for the God of my understanding. I'm grateful that God delivered me off of the drugs and the alcohol. He delivered y'all off the drugs and the alcohol. Hey, God, mama, how you doing, baby? How? And then you think that when you get clean and that you understand, you know, that your loved ones won't do you that way. Your loved ones will protect you. Your loved ones is proud of you. Your loved ones, they are the worst ones. I had to move. That's how I know this certain person said they had to move. When your own family can see the good in you. They see the good in me because I ain't using no more. I would never go back to that again. I would never go back to that tragedy again of sleeping in the garage or sleeping with men or messing with married men. I never do that again. When I told God, if you help me help myself, I never use again. And that was 36 years ago. And I ain't never used again. I ain't going to use again because I know the God of my understanding is carrying me when I can't even carry myself. You know, and some of these people's coming here and they're like, well, I couldn't do it. You know, I'm just so hurt. And then you go back out and use. Okay, what did you gain from that? What did you gain other than losing your clean time? What did you gain? But you going back and use might be your last relapse. I tell people that don't make fun of them because that might be what it took for them to get their last relapse in their life where they never use again. So yeah, when I told my sponsor, well, you know, I got to go on dialysis, I got to do this, you know, I'm clean, you know, she said, why you on that pity pot? That pity pot don't belong to me, and you shouldn't have it. You shouldn't even be going through a pity pot. You know why? That's the wreckage of our past caught up with us. Whether it's 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, the wreckage of your past will catch up. Hey, people can believe that if they don't think so. You keep using, you keep drinking, you keep getting high, and you think you got it going on because you can go to work, you can maintain. I'm talking about me. Keep on thinking that you can go to a job and maintain and still drink and still get high and everything is okay. And then all of a sudden one day you learn about freedom from drugs and alcohol, and all of a sudden you stop using. All of a sudden you start getting clean. All of a sudden you start doing all the right things for the right reason. All of a sudden you start giving back. All of a sudden you start getting recovery houses. All you start getting, then I got a transportation bin. I was on. Everything was on. But then all of a sudden, I ain't using. And everything, the wreckage of my past caught up with me 25 years later. Now I want to get on a pity pot. Want everybody to feel sorry for me. My sponsor said, I don't want to hear that. I can't tell you what she said because I don't like to cuss. Well, I don't want to hear that. Now, don't what you calling me for a pity party? No, it ain't happening. She said, take a look at your life. Take a look and see what you did to yourself. Nobody did it to you because you wouldn't allow nobody else to do it to you. And said, now that, so now that you clean, now you want to challenge yourself because now you want to get on a pity party so that can put reservation in your head again so you can go back and use again and then you can blame it on the pity party. I said, you make me sick. This is what I told her. I said, you make me sick. She said, no, Renee, come on, let's keep it real. What are you doing? Setting yourself up? What are you doing? Premeditated? You know, now you're on this pity party because you went to Africa, stayed in Africa for 15 days, and the kidney was doing 15%. I'm telling y'all, I went through something y'all just don't know. Y'all don't know. You just don't know. Went through Africa, stayed 15 days, had the best time of my life, only to come back and break me. What? What you say? I come from Africa and now I gotta go on dialysis? Now I'm angry? God, what happened? What happened? I did everything you told me. I was living right. I wasn't lying no more. I wasn't prostituting no more. I wasn't thinking ugly no more. I went to have a good time and came back. And this how you gonna do me? This how you gonna do me? Now I gotta go on dialysis. My kidney was 15% when I left, but I don't know what happened from going to Chicago. But I'm gonna tell you what happened. I caught. But everybody had COVID. I caught it before I got to Africa. I really couldn't enjoy myself them 14 days in Africa. I was sick as a dog. And then I get back. And I got to go straight to dialysis. The God of my understanding, He'll take you through some things just to bring you out to be a winner. Everybody's story is different. But I got so mad at God. I didn't understand why all this time I've been clean to get broke. Broken. And He told me, you didn't get broken. You getting healed. You getting well. And sometimes our own thinking can get us messed up. I was serving God when I was in that air. I was serving God before I got to Africa. And then all of a sudden I wanted to come back and blame Him because I got to get on dialysis. Reality check. The wreckage of my past caught up with me. The wreckage. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for that news. But I had to take accountability like my sponsor said. I had to, so now you're on a pity pot. You got to go on dialysis so you can prolong your life. You still living and breathing. You still can get up and go home. You still got your legs, your arms, your eyes, and you can hear and you can talk. And you want to get on the pity potty? I ain't on that pity potty with you. Some people didn't make it to dialysis. And once I changed that way of thinking and got into a mode of gratefulness, all the doors open. He took me from one situation into another situation and let me identify both situations. And I had to see which one was winning. That was the situation that I came out of. That I can go on dialysis. Dialysis. God, why did you leave me? Why did you forsake me? Oh, I went there. I ain't gonna tell you. You can still argue with God. You can still fuss with God, but He got the last say so. I don't know why people say that we got the last so, but God got the last say so. He said, I'm gonna take you through something, Renee. He said, but you gotta use what you've been taught. You gotta use them steps that you've been telling everybody else about. You gotta get butt naked truthful and realize the records of your past have came up. Now you got to deal with this. And I did. I wasn't happy until I learned to be grateful. And that's what I love about the God of my understanding, because you'll go through sadness, you'll go through hurt, you'll go through pain, you'll go through grateful, you'll go through happiness, you'll go through freedom, you go through all steps of feelings in your life. But one feeling I didn't let go of, and that was the feeling of the God of my understanding, that He's the type of God that'll bring you through the impossible. He will take your thought and change your thought into something good. He will teach you how to love people that crucially hurt you and misuse you. See, that's how I know it's a God. See, the God that's in these books and in this program, it's the same God my mama told me about. Until it hit home. Now I see what you're working with. Oh, I'm working with something good. You know, God blessed me to be on dialysis 2 years. I never crumbled. I never cried. I was weak many days, but I never missed a day in 2 years and 4 months. And God told me, y'all think I'm lying, God told me through my doctor. My doctor walked in one day and he said, and I told him about I was on addiction, how I did drugs. I told him everything. And he told me, he said, hey, Lene, he said, you'll be getting a kidney pretty soon, because I was always coloring, always doing something, selling something, doing something. Why that day was the next day? Hey, Miss Thing, why that day was the next day? Why that day I get a call and say, Renee, we got a kidney for you? What? What kind of kidney? A real kidney? The lady laughed on the phone. Yes, Miss Renee, a real kidney. And I had 3 peoples in the car with me going to a meeting. And I kept driving around the corner. And I was crying. And they was like, Miss Renee, what's wrong? What's wrong, Renee? I was just driving around the corner. And I said, God, you took me through all that to bring me to this point. That's why I love you so. You never gave up on me when I was yelling at you and fussing at you and blaming you for my own stuff. Oh, God. My sister came on the porch. She said, why you ain't at your meeting? I said, they got a kidney for me. She said, Renee, get out the car. Get out the car. My sister said, Celine, Renee, get out the car. And she got out the car. She said, you can't drive. I was too anxious. Y'all don't know what I've been through within that week coming back, from when I came back from Africa. And then, I go back on dialysis. And I'm on dialysis every day. And people just complaining. But I never complained because I was glad to be alive. I never complained. I was nice. I was peaceful. I was happy. And I see people's coming in there drinking on dialysis, getting high on dialysis, sitting next to me, and I got to smell weed, and you drunk. I'm like, God. I know you working it out. My sister took me. And when she took me, she said, Renee, stop crying. I said, I ain't crying because I'm scared. I'm crying that every prayer, every thought, everything I said to God, I'm sorry. I didn't see it then. I didn't see you was working it all out for my favor. I didn't see that. I only saw hurt. I only saw you forgot about me. I only saw pain, and I was mad because I done been clean, and all of a sudden this happened to me. I'm at a breaking point. But the breaking point was God had to show me what gratefulness really means. Don't think y'all do all this by yourself. Don't think you wake yourself up in the morning. It's only through the grace of God, the God of our understanding, that he didn't take his hands off of you, that he's still holding on to you. Any person can change. Anybody. You ain't got to use. You use because you want to use. You've been there. You know what it takes to. You know how you have to stay in the program. You know you got to be true to the program, or the program won't be true to you, because you will not follow the program. Got a kidney. Somebody else gave me a kidney. And I cried. My sister drove me. So the little stuff y'all complain about, the little stuff you going through, y'all ain't been through nothing. It's worse than I have. Or maybe you have. But you never give up on God. I was so sorry. I was crying because I was so sorry of the questions I asked and how I was fussing him out. And he still had the last say so. And the evidence was good. Don't you ever give up. I don't care. Sometimes my kids drive us crazy, but see, I gotta, I change. Sometimes friends drive us crazy. Sometimes, the church that we in will drive us crazy. Sometimes things ain't right. But you know what? We have to get right first in order to be right. We have to get right. We can't look for excuses and make excuses when it's kind of bit of, benefit for us. You got to make things happen. You got to make things happen in order for it to be in your favor. We come a long ways from drug addiction to recovery. And I've been recovery for a while. And it's gonna be another while. Whatever God give me, I won't use from dying. I won't die from using. That's what I meant. I would never die from using. I'm never going back to that disease. That disease broke me mentally, emotionally. My body tore me down. For all the drugs, all the alcohol, all the pills, all the cocaine, everything that I put in my body 365 times in a year, and God still letting me live to talk about it. Get off the pity party. My sponsor didn't even endorse that. I called her, I was crying and upset on a pity party, and she told me she wasn't going there with me. I'm not having no pity party. See, that's why I told you I watched for my sponsor for a whole year. I needed a good sponsor, somebody that was going to wreck my nerves, make me mad, and upset me. And that was going to be the key to hold me, to keep my sponsor all this time. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. A grateful addict never used. Never let go of the God of your understanding. Whoever your understanding of God and what it is, don't you let go of that. Because you're going to need him when ain't nobody else around. You're going to need him when everybody around. I never let go of the God of my understanding. He made me feel more special than he ever felt before. Because he have helped me through situations, relationships, not just with boyfriends and mans, kids and children and friends and associated. He will have your back when you think nobody got your back. And I love him for that. I love God for never leaving none of us. I love God for staying in y'all life and not letting you go, for you to see the right thing, for you to see how people's hurt you, for you to see how your own kids hurt you, how nobody was trying to help you, and you've been good to everybody. You got to learn from your experience. You got to gain some things that you didn't pay attention to before. I love y'all. I hope I helped y'all in some kind of way. This addiction is very real. Good seeing you, Stella, my godmother, Carolyn. Good to see Cynthia. Good to see Miss Thane. You know, when we get to a breaking point, and I believe that's my friend Pandy. Miss Thane is, hey Pandy, that's my baby. Boy, you couldn't mess with Pandy when we was in school. I'll beat you up if you mess with Pandy. I thought about that the other day. I think about the love. Think about y'all letting me come into your room, your living room, your kitchen, wherever it is. I'm always include me in my stories, you know, because it helps another individual how to be honest and be able to talk and be able to share. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm real as I ever been. And, you know, I don't have to lie and hide and put faces on and different masks on no more, because I learned how to be free from all drug substance, learn how to be free from my thinking, learn how to be free from my attitude, you know, and my attitude would be the gratitude to somebody else where they can see the change. Ain't nobody perfect. We just better than we ever been. And I want Stella to work on that too. I was good to see you last night, Stella. I was glad to see you come in last night. You're going to be all right. But you got to do your part. You got to do your part. I tell anybody, you got to do your part. You can't sit down and wait for it to come to you. You got to put in some action. You got to do some footwork. You got to do some thinking. You got to do some reading. You got to go to meetings. You got to be a part of something that's going to be positive in your life, that's going to help you sustain whatever you might have to go through. Don't you ever let nobody separate you from the love of God, the God of our understanding. All right, good to see everybody. I'm finna get ready to leave. We on Sunday. Sunday we on step 12, y'all. Haven't had a spiritual awakening. As a result of these steps, we tried to carry the message. You hear that? We tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Well, you know, that's the last one, and then we go back, who's an addict? We go back to the first step, you know, but that last step is all the results of the first to the 11th step. And now I'm going to have fun doing that one because I love that step. Step 12 brought me to a point that I can do anything and everything as long as I keep the God of my understanding in my life. You got to put him first. Got to put him first. I put him first, program second. Because if God is in the program, then I got to have both of them. I won't lose that way. Now, anybody else can do what they want to, but God is first, head of my life. And then the 12-step program of Narcotics Anonymous program. Y'all, good night. I close with, Lord, grant me the serenity. Come on, y'all. Y'all know the serenity prayer. And I love the serenity prayer because the serenity prayer keeps me going every day. I say it every day. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's that part. That part. The wisdom to know the difference. Have a good night, y'all. I'll see y'all Sunday. God bless each and every last one of y'all. To God, Mama, to everybody that was on here, I love you. And if ain't nobody ever told you or don't tell you, I tell y'all twice a week how much I love you, because I do. I don't have to see you every day. I don't have to talk to you every day, but I can keep you in my prayers and in my thoughts and tell you I love you. Do something nice and kind for somebody. Somebody that's been mean and evil to you and hurt you, still do something nice if it ain't nothing but speak. That's how you overcome your fears and your hatred and your unforgiveness. You got to forgive or you won't make it in paradise. The God that, look at all the stuff we done and he forgave us. Come on, y'all. God bless you. Have a good Saturday this weekend. I'm planning on it. And if ain't nobody never told you they love you, Renee Williams have done that just for today. Good night.